All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Engineering the Markets. We are all set and ready to go. So, happy Monday. Welcome back from this past weekend. It is November 22nd, 2021. My name is Jared, and we will get started in the same way that we do every week and take a look at what the market is projecting for volatility and expected movement throughout the week. Keep in mind, this is a shortened week. We do have a holiday where the market is closed. That's going to be on Thursday. And then Friday should be a half day session. So while this volatility expected move is for the entire week, there are less trading hours and less trading days involved in this particular range. So with that said, let's take a look at it. I've got the SPX S&P 500 index on the chart. And as we know, every week we come in here and we simply mark the expected move for the week based on the close of the following week. We also sort of look and see, has the market been efficient or inefficient in the past sessions based around whether the price is able to remain inside this expected move, and do we see breaches or tests of these ranges? So leading up into this range, we've seen lots of breaches to the upside, different expansions, tests, and ultimately an overextension that occurred, leading to our current, basically previous all-time high. Last week, the market was able to make significant tests of this high, but we have not necessarily seen a strong close. So at the moment, we are a bit range bound. We've also seen that the week of this expansion to all-time highs, the following week, we had our first sort of downside test of this expected move. And this is just showing that the market was probably in a period of consolidation. These downside breaches are showing as well that the option market was doing a decent job capping the range of the entire week, essentially saying that the market was unable to move much further than this lower bound. So last week, we saw something a little different. We saw the first week in a while where the market did not test the upper or lower bound of the expected move. And this was a week where the market was pricing in about a $55 expected move. So we look at where we closed on not last Friday, but the Friday before session. And we look at where we closed last Friday. We see that the market really didn't go anywhere. We had about a 10 to 15 point move higher in the SPX, which from a directional standpoint is fairly unchanged. 46.82 to our close of 46.97. Looking into this week, we're looking at a new expected move of approximately 55 points. Now, initially, that would be relatively normal for a non-volatile week like the SPX had last week. But what's a bit interesting is what I mentioned prior, which is this week is shortened. We have less trading sessions inside of this particular week. And the stock market, the SPX especially, is pricing in about the same amount of volatility as last week. Now, as I just stated, last week was not a particularly volatile session from this perspective. We didn't really see a lot of tests or even attempt to move in the stock market from a directional sense. Bit choppy overall and staying fairly tight near this sort of mid to upper range of previous all-time high. So what's been driving this market forward? Well, last week we talked significantly about tech dominance. Whether you're looking at an index or an ETF, the tech dominance can be seen in multiple markets. We have something like XLK, our tech ETF for the S&P, making new all-time highs and closing at a new all-time high last week, driven dominantly by stocks that are continuing to rally to new highs, the likes of Microsoft, Apple, which made new all-time highs last week, coming into some notable channel resistance. And our semiconductor space, Nvidia and AMD, some of our main drivers, with Nvidia not only closing at a new all-time high, but in this morning's session, providing additional possible upside that once again looks good from a trending perspective. So our tech dominance is evident. We see that the market, especially in the NASDAQ, which also made new all-time highs, is continuing quite bullishly. We're seeing that strength be a bit of an interesting split in the market in regards to tech dominance, but not necessarily overall market breadth. Now, we talked about that a little bit last week as well. The idea that while this market is holding at all-time highs, the underlying strength of the market, the breadth, the equal weight perspective, and different sectors of this market are not necessarily providing the same bullish activity as our dominant tech sector. We also continue to watch our Russell. I've got the fib extension here, just showcasing once again that we did hit our first sort of breakout target from the perspective of a range. Coming out of a range, usually hitting this 161 extension, is the first area where you would expect some challenge for a market that's been range bound for a period of time. Additionally, as we are pulling back, we're simply going to be watching this market to see where do we get some confirmation that the dip might be bought. And ultimately, we have not seen that yet as the selling volume has continued on this pullback. We've seen continual rotation not into small caps, more specifically into tech and consumer discretionaries. And ultimately, while this breakout is holding above its range, we're not necessarily seeing the same sort of trending activity as other markets have been benefiting from. So I want to be watching shorter term timeframes for any possible bounce attempts and ultimately waiting to see if this market is going to backtest its breakout point. So moving into a shortened week, we want to focus on strength. If you are a bullish trader, you ultimately want to continue where the market is giving this opportunity and just look for warning signs that the momentum is shifting. Last week, the discussion revolved around this tech dominance. If it were to fail, i.e. if consolidation were to begin or we saw a sharp sell-off signal, then we need to be looking at other sectors to carry the market forward. Otherwise, the poor internal breadth of the SPY is going to lead to a possible deeper correction if nothing else takes the baton. Now, our main candidates for that continue to be our larger overall sectors. Something like a financial, which is coming back into its previous range high and showcasing what a backtest might look like. On Friday, we had some higher volume print. We also see a bit of indecision from a technical perspective. And we're also getting the first attempt to hold the 50-period moving average since we broke out from this range. Essentially showcasing that while financials have not been strong as of late, from a technical sense, we are coming into our first pullback point after a range breakout. And also somewhat showcasing what something like the Russell may be attempting to do. Yes, the breakout was nice if you were able to capture the first round, but you have to be prepared for the give back. And essentially, if financials are going to continue to hold these upper ranges, we need to see some bullish activity come in where we expect them to be on the daily. Basically, previous resistance turn support and previous trending moving averages. What about a sector like healthcare? Well, as we mentioned last week, healthcare has not been participating in the bullish activity. We're seeing actually some increased selling pressure, as last Friday we actually broke down through the 20, closing below and closing on a weak overall session. Just want to keep an eye on this area because, once again, this is not necessarily our strongest trending market. And if tech were to fall once again, this is a candidate that either needs to recover that strength or see continual selling, which would bring the market down much more sharply. And then finally, as I brought up consumer discretionaries, this is sort of in line with our tech sector because we have somewhat intraday rotations that occur in different stocks. You'll see things like Amazon become bullish on a random session throughout the week. That's usually due to some new activity, some new possible catalyst, but ultimately a lot of overall NASDAQ dominance. We're simply seeing the, I would say the leaders of the NASDAQ 100 continue to have that bullish tone throughout the past week. And while one stock might be more consolidative on that session, another name will pick up the slack, leading to continuation and trending activity inside of the QQQ. Same idea goes for Tesla, which is trying to hold its previous sell-off. But as we've marked on our chart, we had a previous gap, another one above. This is sort of our highest sell zone in regards to the previous sell-off, along with a possible sell area. If we go to a 1 hour chart, you can see where this fell off. And ultimately, as we're coming into this zone today, this will be a chance for bulls to disprove this area as resistance, basically to break out once again. So when looking at market breadth, I often like to pull up something like an equal weight ETF. It's a very simple way to just see that the market is not necessarily all bullish in all areas. As we've gone through a few different charts, a few different ETFs like energy, which had sharper selling, you can see that there are sectors in the market that are not holding very well in the past few days. And that can be seen on an equal weighted chart, where not only we're getting a pullback, but that pullback volume is starting to increase. So once again, just kind of waiting to see if this market is going to have some cracks in the sort of tech armor, or is it going to be an all-out bullish run in tech moving into the shortened week? And if that occurs, of course, we should see something like an expected move test to the upside, with tech being the main sector leading us to that upper test. Otherwise, this sort of efficient market in regards to a more consolidative, balanced zone will continue. So, what are some ways for us to prepare for the week? Well, as we are a bit in a range-bound market, not necessarily indicative that we will continue to be in this range, but we just want to monitor where value continues to place throughout the week. Last week, we came into a particular session where the market was essentially at the midpoint of a volume profile study, often referred to as VPOC. This idea of being at value or being at the balance point of a particular range is often one that you want to focus on when it comes to shorter term opportunities. Essentially, if you break away from your value zone, you often want to see, do you have other distribution zones above large value readings inside of a volume profile? And if so, are they enough to stop the momentum before you get some sort of range test, i.e. a VA high type test or a particular swing high type test in regards to a range? So looking over the past 30 days, we obviously are analyzing this upper zone of the market. And you can see that this morning, we're sitting slightly above a previous VPOC, which is about 468.50. Just looking at the past 10 days, it doesn't necessarily capture all of the range activity at this point, but we're starting to move away from what was a previous VPOC at about 467. This is when the market was essentially neutral from this perspective. And we're starting to push higher and higher, leading to a bit of overextension, which can cause sharper moves lower once we get too far removed from our value zones. So not necessarily saying that the market is ready to break out. This poor market breadth continues to be a bit of an issue for the S&P moving forward. But if tech continues to push higher, and if we get one or two major sectors starting to get a bit more bullish, something like a financial would be ideal given its technical location and its overall placement in regards to where it sits on the trending support. If we get some bullish activity in financials and tech holds, we can expect the SPY to probably have a breakout attempt of all-time highs. Additionally, if that does not become the case, we may want to watch what is the bond market doing and see if we can get some clues based on this normal correlation of tech strength on bond strength and financial to energy strength on bond weakness. Now, the one caveat I'll have for that is the past week or so, that correlation has been pretty poor for the overall market strength and anticipating where market is going to be placing capital. You can see here that the bond market over the past week and a half has had a pretty strong sell-off. We've come into a lower high that has been printed on the TLT. We had a strong sell-off from this high coming back into our range low support. The idea of a range transition, very classic sort of technical approach here, and can be seen as an example on the TLT. Market was able to engulf and find support near this range low and see sort of a 2 to 3 day recovery, which has been shaking the tree in regards to the interest rate. Something like the TNX has been very volatile back and forth with this type of selling pressure and then the subsequent recovery. And it doesn't take much to just look at something like our volatility futures to see that the volume throughout that past week has had some sharper readings as we've seen back and forth activity occurring. So moving into this market with these types of conditions, just showing the dollar strength, which we talked about extensively last week, these market conditions are a bit new. They're a bit different than what we've seen before. Yes, tech strength is prevalent. Yes, we're seeing something like a possible channel break of the NASDAQ, something to point out more as a technical idea, where the Qs have had some very strong support at channel lows. We actually talked about this buying opportunity back in early October and the idea that the market was able to bottom from its September correction using the NASDAQ support. But now as we get into our channel resistance, and as we can see that the market is starting to breach higher, what we need to be worried about is the idea of a trend continuation, but also an acceleration. Usually, whenever something that has worked in the past fails, it can cause things to become a bit more accelerated, i.e. something like a short squeeze, or just a continuation that is facilitated by larger momentum. Shorts essentially taking the advantage of this channel, selling the NASDAQ, and not getting the same follow through as they have before, could lead this market to once again push higher, but do so in a non-structured way. not necessarily leaving supports as we continue higher, and essentially riding that momentum until it eventually tops out and exhausts, at which point the market stability that sits below will be a bit of a risk moving forward. So what could something like that look like? Well, usually whenever we get trend acceleration, when you have a prevailing uptrend or downtrend, you're often looking to see where pullbacks are getting bought. If you're making new swing highs and every time you consolidate or pull back, you see continuation off of something like the 20 or 50 moving average, regardless of the time frame, that is a normal trend. It basically follows a bit of a rhythm. You push, you pull back, you push, you pull back. The extensions might become larger or smaller depending on the strength of the trend. You might be seeing bits of traps throughout. One pullback not necessarily hitting the same moving average, but then coming in a little deeper and still making new swing highs before breaking a previous swing low. That often can be referred to as a bit of a trend trap. The idea that maybe some shorts are trying to anticipate a breakdown, and that of course did not work. So when looking for trend acceleration, what we're going to be looking for is the idea that this market may want to go a bit more vertical. And it can seem odd because we've been in such a bullish market before, and we continue to be in one as the market's making new highs. So to think that this trend can actually become more steep is actually a bit of an odd concept, given we are so far above expectations for a lot of traders and investors. But as we know from a technical sense, the more something continues to push, often the more dangerous it can become to time tops and bottoms. You're basically seeing that the trend is continuing, and the more people who are piling in for the opposite move and who are wrong can facilitate that extension. So some examples of what that might look like. Let's go to our chart Apple. Let's kind of simplify it with one particular stock. As you can see, I have a 1 hour chart here. And as you can see from Apple's past couple of days, we have been in a really good uptrend. Not only did we move away from a large value zone, which can be seen on our volume profile, this sort of 148 to 150 area being a very sticky price for Apple's chart. Let's go back to my moving averages. But as Apple began to break out, there's a very clear moving average support on this time frame. Every single time we've hit the 20, we have made new swing highs. And that often comes in the form of an intraday session where we push into our relative high on the session, we profit take into the close, and then we respond the next day with the same approach. Starting back in this time frame here, albeit that this is the attempt for the breakout, which started on this candle here. So this overall trend looks good. It looks very strong. But what we're looking for are differences. We're looking for exceptions to this trend. And when I bring it back to our weekly time frame, we can see that Apple is also in a dominant channel over the past year to year and a half. Larger sells have been made near this high. This channel has formed after this sell has continued, and we've even gotten our third attempt to push, albeit this one did not return to channel support, unlike these here. So this dominant channel is interesting for Apple's chart because we have multiple things converging in one area. We have longer time frame channel resistance. We have daily breakout and continuation. The idea that this market is pushing from a value zone. Definitely do not want to fight that. If anything, you want to try and join into that strength while it lasts. And then on our shortest time frame, the idea that this market has not pulled back on its most recent move. So can we get some divergence here? Can we start to see something like a trend breakdown where bears are starting to push the market lower from an area that the market has pushed down before? And if they fail to do so, if this or a lower support holds in the next couple of days to weeks and Apple continues higher, not only is that really good for the overall market, Apple being one of our large market cap leaders, but think about this chart from the perspective of a bear. If you have shorted that channel resistance and are not getting the same follow through, eventually you'll have to stop out. And what that can do to a trend is to accelerate it. We can start to see this chart move faster, the pullbacks be less intense. And eventually, when we get to sort of a topping pattern, parabolic or otherwise, that can be a stage that is set for the market to be, if anything, volatile in those sessions, along with possibly having some weakness if that top does result in a larger than average pullback. So just kind of walking through some ideas is we do have a shortened week. We essentially have less to look at this week. We're going to be talking about some of the bond yield and bond curve discussions either tomorrow or Wednesday. But looking at what the market is giving us, tech is the leader. There's no doubt about it. There's no reason to really fight it at this time. A lot of these stocks are a bit extended, but the dominant trend remains. And when you look at how this market can fall, we either need to see tech remain stagnant for a period of time while other sectors are continuing to sell, or tech needs to sell and other sectors can't pick up the same slack. And what that can look like, especially from the perspective of a technical chart, is these overextended breakouts with lack of follow through. Something like a channel breakout that fails in the short term can lead to a bit of sell side activity, albeit the Qs did recover from this previous attempt. Something like an overextension on divergence. We talked a little bit about RSI last week, and the idea that as trends continue and as they get higher and higher, participants like to wait for pullbacks, and if they do not come, that overextension and then the divergence of strength will start to form. Apple currently doesn't really have that divergence, albeit we are overextended from this perspective on a 1 hour chart. So different ideas, different examples of how the market can move forward this week. We obviously need more information as the week is just starting, but we also want to talk about things that are not working. Obviously, being short tech over the past week has not really been a successful strategy. You want to follow the trend while it lasts, but you also want to be on the lookout for what can cause the trend to end. Is it major resistance? Is it divergence in the overall trend structure? Or is it sort of that parabolic nature where the market gets way overheated and then eventually just runs out of buyers? What does that look like and how that forms will be a question for this week, assuming that we do get some of that weakness. So with that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Market. Let's take some of those ideas into our trading session for today. We have a lot of stocks continuing in their pre-market, the likes of Apple, the likes of Nvidia, the likes of Microsoft. You hear that theme of continuation in the tech sector. But there are some other areas of the market that may be worth focusing on if this sector does stall. So take care, stay tuned for pre-market prep, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you guys had an incredible weekend. Norm, good morning. How are you, my friend?
Hey, good morning, brother. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. A little tired, but outside of that, doing very, very well. So, um, let's get into it, guys. Thank you, Jared, so much for that insight every single morning, well, Monday through Thursday, over on YouTube. Let's give him a thumbs up for doing that and providing us that information. Let's get over to the market pulse. Norm, what we have coming up for this week?
Yeah, obviously Thursday is Thanksgiving. Markets closed then. Half day Friday closes at 1 p.m. Eastern. So short week this morning. Volume on particular individual stocks that I've been looking at looks relatively light and not great, but see if that starts to change as we get closer to the open. Today we've got 8:30. Just had the Chicago Fed National Activity Index. I've not seen the data on that. And existing home sales at 10. I will say there is a massive data dump coming Wednesday with, I mean, the biggest number of data points I've seen dropped on a single day ever, I think. So we'll see how that what that does to the markets on Wednesday, and we're just up against all-time highs here. See if we can break that 270, 271. Or excuse me, two. I'm losing my mind, man. Break that 470, 471 number. 270. What is this? 2018?
Yes.
God.
Um, all right, guys. Yeah, it should be an interesting week, guys. Also a short week as well. So we'll see how
Yeah.
all that stuff plays out this week. Okay, guys. Let's get to it. Let's look at our gappers list this morning. We have a bit of stuff in the green this morning. So a couple of tickers in there looking very good. A couple of no low flows today. We do have a couple of low floats over in our gapping down list right over here. So we'll see how those are doing. I know G Tech was hot last week, or at least was active. I don't remember if it was a good one or not. We'll look into that one. So plenty of stuff to look at today. We'll start by looking at our gapping up list. So let's start with ASTR this morning. This one right now up 26%. I do not like the pre-market action. Let's make sure we got our epic pen here. Good to go. Yeah, yeah. So I do not like this pre-market action I'm seeing here. You have one giant pop and then you're just kind of selling off as high as 1545 and nothing good after that. So unless there's any great catalyst on this one, I don't see anything fun happening right now. It
I
is
mean,
not
they
a
did
low
have a
flow.
catalyst that
Yeah.
they've got a contract with Space Force, and they launched a rocket there. I think it's the first one Friday night. So
Hmm.
there's a catalyst. I don't know if it's worth anything, but I haven't dug into it too deeply.
Yeah. So again, guys, just not liking this price action right now, pre-market. I'm gonna skip on it for now. Not sure how well this is going to trade. You do have shares for sure on it though, and it's looking rather weak this morning. So not saying any buys on it, but it is interesting there, at least in that end. Let's look at blue, BLUE this morning, up 9.5. Also horrible pre-market action, guys. Not a low flow stock, but man, this does not look good at all. Big gap down a couple of weeks ago, and now it's just again just horrible pre-market action. Not something I like right now. DCPH also not looking great. Let's look at that again. DCPH, yeah, this is horrible, horrible. Let's go back to LAC. LAC this morning, man, it is a rough Monday. So
I
this one is
told you,
up.
brother.
This is a rough Monday. This one is up 6%, guys. 184,000. Just looks very thin pre-market. Also looks thin on the daily because if you look at this, yes, we're in a nice little uptrend here. So if you're swing trading this long-term investment, a whole different story, right? That's not what we're looking to do at least right now in this segment. That looks great, but look at the volume, very, very light volume. So you're not probably getting great price action there throughout the day. And let's just quickly look at, well, except Friday. Friday looked good. Friday looked very good there. But outside of that, again, I don't think you're going to get great stuff out of this one. So uh, on the fence on it, guys. It is ripping up nicely, though. 6.2. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. This Monday is going to be something. AGC here, no good, guys. Wow, look at this really choppy daily. So very choppy right now. Pre-market action also not great. Let's go down to Billy today. Billy, We know they can trade very well. Had a nice gap down last week here on Thursday. Didn't do much on Friday, so that could be interesting. Maybe trying to bounce back here today, but very light on volume right now. Pre-market, I'm not seeing anything great on it. But Billy, though, it can get going. So usually pre-market, you don't have great volume. So we might need to just give this one just a little bit more time to get his stuff together there. So let's take a look over at Neo. Neo today, 974,000, 8:36 a.m. This is great volume for Neo. So I like what's happening here. Norm, is there anything with Neo this morning or the whole EV area?
Yeah, I mean, just all EVs are. I mean, we've got what 5 or 6 of them on here, so they're
Hmm.
all moving in different directions and such. I'm not seeing anything specific to Neo.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, they did wrap up a secondary. Other than that, I'm not really seeing
Mhm.
much else.
Yeah. So I like their volume right now. They obviously can do a whole lot better than that pre-market. We'll keep them on here. I do like this pop they're getting this morning. We'll take a look at that one a little bit later. Roblox is here. Again, Roblox, guys, has been so strong the last couple of weeks, man. This thing's it's just ripping higher and higher. It is a very difficult stock to intraday trade, so you got to be careful on that one. But it is in play. It definitely is in play. I'm going to add it on here. Roblox 417 up 3.5 again today. OCGN not doing a whole lot. I see this a little bit of a pop here. 3.4, 260,000 after just kind of being crushed here the last couple of the whole month of November really hasn't done well. Started pretty bad at this gap up and then just kind of sold off and has not really found any kind of support. So that could be interesting. But outside of that, if you look at the price section, I'm not seeing anything exciting on this one. Mara, what is Bitcoin up to? We know it took a huge hit it was last week or the week before. Can't recall. Probably the week before, right on here. And this morning they're up 3.5, 214. So maybe, we were swinging the other way today on Bitcoin and Mara. So we'll add this one on here. HUD is another Bitcoin type play as well. I don't really like this one. I think it tends to be a little bit choppier on the other side. Mara, we have BNTX is no good, very difficult to trade as well. mRNA, guys, this thing was very active on Friday. This morning, not a whole lot of activity in the pre-market. We are up 3%. And don't let this daily kind of looks flat here on the candle. But if you're watching this pre-market, even into the market open, this thing did move quite a bit in the intraday action, right? So it kind of ended pretty much where it started off, right? So the daily looks pretty flat here, but it did have some good action here, even pre-market as well. This morning, I'm not seeing a whole lot. Maybe a possible continuation on this one, depending how
Some
things
news out of
go.
Germany with their COVID shots. That's
Yeah,
all I'm
okay.
seeing fresh on Moderna this morning.
Yes, that could be good for them. We'll keep those guys on there. All right, let's stop here. I see Tesla on there. I see Riot as well as a few other names that we know here, but we'll stop here for now. Let's look what's capping down. A couple of low floats in between here. Let's start with those first. Actually, G-Tech this morning, no good. Their fund was on Friday here in the pre-market. They did very well. Couple of pops into the market open, but nothing as clean as this pre-market action was on Friday. So today, the second day, are usually very tough, especially on the gap down, right? If anybody's stuck in here, the minute they get some kind of green in here, you see this just kind of take a drop, take a drop, take a drop. We see that more often than not. Not saying that is the case here, but that is what I expect out of this one. So I don't want to have nothing to do with that one. The next low flow, we have LGVN, also another one that was active on Friday. Pre-market looking very good there. Again, gapping down as well. I'm not interested when they're gapping down like this. And then we have another low flow, SEV. This one, I do not recall watching this one on last week, but yeah, same thing, gapping down here. Short selling restriction, very light on volume. Nothing we want to get involved with there. All right, let's start with the other ones. AUR this morning, they are down 17%. Looks like recent IPO, guys. Yep, opened up on the 4th. And a big day on Friday, now giving some of that back. Down 17%, 351,000 shares traded. No, I just, you got to be careful with this. I just don't like the way this thing is trading. Looks very thin right now, so I'm just gonna avoid that one, guys. We do have AUPH. We've seen this one in the past. They're gapping down 14% today, 700,000. Not the best intraday stock, but any news, Norm, that could be interesting on this? Looks like something happened Friday night, maybe earnings.
Yeah, they announced a shelf offering Friday night.
Hmm. All right, so I like the gap down. Pre-market action could be better. They're very light on volume too on the daily, so I'm just not excited about that there neither. No, I'm not gonna add this one. Rivian, what's that going? Oh, look, we're getting a nice little drop this morning, down 6%, 1 million shares traded. This is definitely in play. It is one of those risky type stocks, so I am gonna add it to my risky pile. But it is in play here. We're getting some good volume, and just look at this here. We're slamming back down, not to the IPO price, but we lost a lot of ground here. That's for sure, the last couple of days. So that is interesting. There is inventory for sure here. Very, very careful, guys. I put this on here because it's not a low flow, but you want to be very careful with that one. Our buddy IonQ, what's going on here?
No, Rivian had some news, I believe, over the
They did?
weekend talking that I can't remember when it was either Friday or over the weekend that it came out that they were working on something with Ford, and I guess that's no longer going on. So that's what's hitting them. So they definitely have a catalyst on that.
Okay, I like that. That is good stuff. We do have shares for sure on this one. We got the volume. Yeah, I like that. Guys, careful still. I mean, this thing can move very aggressively, but yeah, that's definitely in play this morning. All right, we'll stop here. Well, Lucid, we love Lucid. All right, this morning they are 2.7 million shares traded. They're down 3.8. This stock is just so explosive, man. Definitely in play. I'm gonna be watching this one too this morning. So we got three. What's that? Say it again.
I said just be careful with it. Like you said,
Yeah.
it can move.
Yep, it can definitely move. So, all right, we'll stop here, guys. Definitely not a blockbuster list so far, but hopefully that will change with time. Norm, anything you got your eyes on this morning?
Still looking, man. I'm hoping. I just everything I look at just isn't attractive to me today. So
Yeah. We only got 3 on our main list right now. 4 on the possibles list. Rivian could be on your main list. I just want to have it here because I want you guys to be careful with this thing. I mean, it can move very, very aggressive. All right, let's take it to the room, guys. Let's start with our chat room, our members. Good morning. Good morning. Let's take a look at David. We'll start with you, Baba. And this one this morning, they are pretty slightly down today, 274,000. I do like their daily on this one, David from Connecticut, looking very good there. A gap down and then has not done very well. That could be interesting. Also, look at the level we're sitting on Baba. So yeah, I like this one. I'm going to add it. And we know that Baba can trade very, very clean, especially when they're dropping like this and losing some levels. Let's take a look at your second one here for Plug. Let's take a look at Plug. What are they up to this morning? I love this daily on Plug. 384,000, 2.3, up 2.3 this morning. This daily is looking very, very nice for possible breakout. So yeah, 2 very good ones from you, David, today. Thank you very much. We'll add Plug on here as well. Again, this daily. Now, the only thing with Plug is we know it just can be so choppy at times. So just be careful with that. Mo, ISPC. All right, we're starting to get going here. 6.4 million shares traded. We are up almost 80%. What is the float on this ISPC? We are looking at a 3.2 million shares float. So a very much different pre-market action, right? We have the pop, but we have the continuation, which is nice. Yeah, looks good, man. Looks good for a low float. Extremely careful with this one. As you can see, is moving up 80%. Obviously, that says it all right there. ISPC looking like the low flow of the day right now, guys. Looking very, very nice. Looking to break 9 at the moment. We'll see if it can do that. All right, so thank you. That looks good. Heading down, Go EV. Go EV. Yeah, Go EV is taking a little bit of a hit. I don't like the volume right now, but this chart, it looks so weak right now in the pre-market. So we'll have to see. They're pretty much flat, sitting right at the previous day close line. I just wish they had more volume. I'm going to put them as a possible here. They could get the volume at the market open. But yeah, we'll see. We'll come back to that one. All right, Go EV is good. Plug is good. AMD is next. AMD, yeah, AMD is good. AMD is another one that you can keep an eye on. Really not in play. You're just looking for a possible, hopefully a breakout here to the all-time highs, right? Right now, it doesn't have great volume, but AMD can trade very well. It's a great possible. If you don't find nothing else that's really heavily in play, AMD could be a great filler to keep an eye on. Nvidia also looking, Nvidia actually is looking a lot better than AMD this morning. Right here, breaking out, did crush through the all-time highs right now. So 383. it's it. Yeah, Nvidia's looking good, guys. I like Nvidia. That's definitely in play this morning as it breaks all-time highs. Let's look at Facebook. No, Facebook, I don't very light volume. I don't see a great breakout setting up like you have on AMD or Plug, right? These breakouts are, look at Plug, they're breaking out nicely from the pre-market highs at 45.62. So that's good. Facebook doesn't have that just yet, right? So I'm gonna keep that one off for now. Apple, Michael, let's take a look. Apple this morning. Oh yeah, Apple. See, uh, beautiful pre-market action. I mean, just like the one we just saw, Facebook, right? It doesn't have that breakout situation happening just yet, but this volume here, this is nice. This is nice. 4.1 million shares traded on Apple. Hold on a second. I got the wrong chart down here. Oh man, better. There we go. Yes, Apple is in play. Man, look at that. And I know they were doing well, but I did not notice this play the last 4 days here. So Apple is just crushing it, guys. Very, very good. Norm, is there any news on Apple or just overall tech companies just kind of crushing it the last couple of weeks?
I know Apple's been talking about their car. There's been
Yeah.
stuff coming out on that. I think there was a couple other things, but I didn't see anything super dramatic this morning.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe somebody else saw something, but
Yeah, looking good, guys. Great volume. Oh, also 4.1. I know they have that self-repair stuff last week. Is that still going on? So
the what?
self-repair, some cell phone repair. I think you might have been off that day, Norm. They have some cell phone
Yeah, maybe I
self-repair
was out
stuff.
sick.
Yeah, because I know you was out sick a couple of days, so not sure if that's still going, but yeah, looking good. We'll put it on here. All right, guys, let's stop here. Let's take a look over of a couple over on YouTube, and then we'll head over to community events and announcements. Jay, Apple, we do have Adu. You're giving us VG here. VG is no good. No. Look,
Is
I
that a
just zoomed
buyout,
out.
it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like a buyout. It looks funky here. 8.7 million. Yeah, I just don't. We have better stuff on the list this morning, so careful on that. Buyouts, usually you get the volume, you get this flat action here, and don't get me wrong, guys. We've seen buyouts do this, and Nora, we've been doing this for so long now. And at the open, they'll trade very well. Sometimes you just never know, right? But for the most part, at the open, you're
Very,
just
very
going to
rare.
get, yeah, very rare. You're going to just get this chop. And this sometimes usually happens on really well-known companies, right? Like, for example, like Twitter buy now,
Yeah,
Snapchat.
it's
It happens on well-known companies, not this. What is this? BG
what's
stuff.
Vonage?
Well, I don't know what that is.
It's
I
phone.
think it's a phone company. I think I've seen commercials
Yeah,
for that.
it is.
It is. All right. Yeah. Those trade horrible to begin with, period. So, yeah, that's not going to be no good. At least that's my expectation on that. Nvidia, we do have, guys, that is good. MU has not been treating us well. Friday, they had this.
Bond of Jason W says he thought I said bondage.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
vonage,
Yeah. I think,
not bondage.
yeah.
I don't
Very
know what
big
kind of
difference
freaky
there.
stuff you're into, Jason, but
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Too
I want
early,
no
man.
part of it.
Too early for that. All right. MU here, guys. Big day on Friday. Possible continuation, but they look pretty flat right now. Maybe a possible. I would like them for a possible. Outside of Friday, though, they have not been trading all that well, man. I know their day looks good, but their intraday action has been a little crappy. Apple's good. Nvidia is good. ASTR, we looked at earlier today. What did we decide on that one? What's ASTR? Yeah, see, we don't like this here, guys, right? You got the pop, and then you're just kind of selling down. Now, could it be possibly in a good short, maybe? I prefer not to watch something that's doing this here, especially at this price range. I just don't like that there. All right, let's see what else we got, guys. Here, Tesla. Did we look at Tesla? Jay's giving us Tesla. Yeah, Tesla's in play, man. It's just has become very difficult to trade at this price range. Once you start getting above this $1,100, $1,000, 900, it trades a little funky. Also slightly difficult to manage your buying power number of shares on this. You don't need to take a whole lot of shares because this thing can move $10, easily, right? We're up here from the bottom $7, right? So you don't need to take a whole lot of shares, but still, it's a little funky. But I think all EV is in play. I have NEO here though. I like NEO this morning. They got good volume, 1 million already. So I think that's looking good. We have Lucid as well here. So I think that's looking good as well. So we got a couple of options in that area, and there's some more too that we didn't go through. for EV stuff. CCL, I don't think it's really in play, guys. I think it's pretty much flat right now, trying to find a base. Has been a great possible swing trade towards the downside. But even with this move here, if you look at the intraday plays, they have not been all that exciting, at least for me. PROG, we're getting some movement here, 2.6 million. We are pretty much flat right now. No, I don't. Yeah, they were on Friday. Actually, they had a great. Yeah, I remember they had a great drop on Friday. They did very well on Friday. I'm not sure, man. On the fence. I like what I have on my list a little bit better than this. Um, yeah, just maybe this could be a good possible. This could replace like a Billy, right? Like Billy shouldn't be on here. I put it on here just to see if it's going to get any better. But we'll replace Billy with this one that has some better potential into the market open. All right, so thank you, Tiago, for that one. All right, we'll do two more, guys. BLDP, excuse me. BLDP starting to get going here, 222,000. Light volume. What is the
I
float
just
on
had
this?
some news come out, collaboration between Caterpillar, Microsoft, and them on something. This one's popped up on the list every once in a while. Those of you that have been around for a while know that Andrew worked for this did some work for this company before he started trading and all that. It's Canadian. I just don't know that it trades all that great.
Yeah, I remember now that you mentioned that. Yeah, it doesn't trade great. I remember that. So yeah, I'm not sure how this catalyst is going to react today. You can keep it on your list. I like what I have already. I'm not going to add this one on here. So I'll keep that one off. And we'll do the last one here is AESE. And no, we'll skip this. This is no bueno, guys. I mean, look at this pre-market action here. It's just nothing happening. You got 9,000 shares traded. Even if you have 100,000, if you look at this daily, this is just no good. So no, let's go down to the next one. We'll do one more so you can find a good one here. Ford. Ford's just holding on to here. I mean, I don't like the way the stock trades. I don't like its price action at all. No, yeah, not good. Last one, GME, because I know I saw a couple of you guys throwing this one out. No, we don't have that explosive volume right now. We did on Friday. Possible continuation. Yes, you got a couple of areas you could hit here. Yeah, you got some stuff going on this morning on this.
I just
did good on Friday, right? So we'll put it on here. We know they can be very explosive. I can get rid of some other stuff here as well, that like Roblox, that they're difficult to trade, but GameStop will put them on here. We'll take a second look at that. All right, guys, let's stop here. Let's go ahead and look at community events and announcements. We will come back and fine tune this list.
All right, just quick weekly rundown, guys. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because we've got a very quiet week here. There's 2 weeks a year that we don't do a whole lot. This is one of them. So swing trade update with Brian this afternoon, 2:30, and then the 8 p.m. onboarding. Are you doing that tonight, Carlos?
Yeah, that is on tonight at 8 p.m.
So we will have that onboarding class and tech class 8 and 9 p.m. respectively at on Monday evenings. Tuesday trade review with Eamon. I'm guessing he'll be around. No success or psychology webinars this week. Thursday we're dark, so none of that stuff will be going on. And then I don't know, maybe Friday, see if Jared will be doing his crypto talk, or if he'll be just stuffed and hungover. So we'll update webinars starting next Monday, or we might do it before the end of the week to give an idea of what's happening in the next week. Just a reminder, all super chat, super sticker revenue is going to be matched dollar for dollar by Andrew and donated to Fisher Center for Alzheimer's Research for the weekend, or for the month of November. I'm just thinking the month ends this week. It's crazy. All right. If you are not trading in a simulator, we have put one together. It is free to the public, stocktradingsimulator.com. Just go over there. You can use the replay feature. It takes real market data, and you can trade in a sim against past days in the market. Also, be sure in that bottom right-hand corner to sign up for the newsletter. That way, a couple times a week, you'll get essentially homework assignments from Eamon and Simon, and they'll describe ideas for going back and practicing trading strategies in there. If you're watching in the room and haven't been in the chat, you'd like to give it a try, you can use the promo code premarket24. Just go to bearbulltraders.com, scroll about halfway down the page, you'll see that test drive now button. When you check out, it will be a one-time payment. It does not recur. And if you use the promo code premarket24, you'll get a discount off the normal price. that last 7 calendar days, 5 trading days, and you have to come back and choose another kind of membership category. And speaking of, if you'd like to become an elite member, use the promo code I'm out of it today. Black Friday 45. And you will get 40% off the annual elite membership and a month of DAS Simulator included. Kreda, good morning. How are you?
Hi, Norm. Good morning. Lovely to have you back.
Yeah, thank you. I sorry you had to deal with Peter last week. I mean, I can't think of anything worse. But I'm just kidding. Peter, thank you so much for covering me. But that having been said, no, I'm happy to be back. Thank you very much. Go ahead and take it away. I'm a little bit behind and I apparently can't talk. So
Sure, I'll jump in. So today's Motivation Monday, but my serving of motivation today is going to be more of a motivational kick up the ass than a reassuring pat on the back. So just brace yourselves. But what I want to talk about today is the idea of trading for the buzz versus trading as a profession. And I'm going to guess that most people, if you're putting in the effort, you're watching the pre-market show, you're invested in your trading, then you are wanting it to be a career or at least be making substantial income from it. So ideally, everybody would be treating it as a profession. But in reality, that's not always the case. And sometimes you may not even be aware yourself that you're treating it more like something you're doing for the buzz than as a profession. So last week we spoke about our trading why. So what were your motivations for trading? And it's important to know them. But if your actions are not aligned with your trading why, then that might be a clue that you're more in the trading for a buzz category. And I'll give an example of that. So let's say your trading why involves, maybe you want to provide a college education for your kids. And then when you're trading, you find that you're jumping into too many trades, you're over trading due to FOMO. Ultimately, that's not going to make you the money that you want or that you could get out of your trading, because over time, you're going to lose money if you do that. You'll be taking setups that are not your quality setups, etc. So in that case, your actions in your trading are not aligned with your trading why. So then you need to look at, am I trading like I'm doing it for the buzz or as a profession? And I'm using trading for the buzz as a bit of a global concept here, but I'll break it down a little bit. So one aspect of that is when you're actually trading for the dopamine hit. So that's for the excitement and the adrenaline that you get from putting on a trade. And in your brain, in your actual brain chemistry, there's neural pathways that will reward you for engaging in risky behaviors. So it's like candy for the brain. So when you put on a trade and there's risk involved, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine and that becomes addictive. So that's one way that you could actually be trading for the buzz. So you're getting enjoyment and satisfaction, and your brain is actually rewarding you from being in the market and placing trades. And while that's great in the short term and it gives you a little lift, in the long term, that's not going to get you to where you want to be in terms of your trading why and your ultimate outcome goals. So that could be one way that it's happening for you. Another concept that I'm putting under this heading is if you're trading for an ego reason. And no judgment here, but this is just a psychology term, so I'm not slating anyone here. But in terms of your ego, this can be when people want to achieve great success, but without showing much effort. So if you can prove, or people feel this way, if they can prove that they can be really successful in a short amount of time with putting in very little effort, then that's kind of saying that, they're able to do something that other people aren't able to do. But that actually sets you up for failure, because trading is a marathon and it's a much longer route to success. So if that's even in you at a subconscious level and you're trying to get the results really quickly, then you could actually be sabotaging your trading. So on the flip side of that, what does trading as a profession look like? So that's more in terms of being willing to put in the effort and stick with the long journey to success. So actually, and Andrew had mentioned this in a blog post the other day, and it was something I'd been talking with my clients about. Trading should be boring. So you can probably know that you're treating trading as a profession if you're not jumping in for that excitement, if you're just consistently making progress and seeing your progress improve day after day, week after week. So trading boring is actually where you want to be at. And that's not to say that you can't enjoy your trading, but just you're not doing it for the automatic hit and kind of lift in your mood that you get from placing trades. And so with trading boring and treating trading as a profession, realistic expectations are one of the concrete ways that that manifests. So if you're treating this really seriously and you want to make big money long term, then how you'll know that you're on that track is that your expectations will be realistic. And so how do you actually audit those expectations? First of all, if you don't have goals, so if you don't have concrete outcome goals of the amount of profit that you want to make and what that would look like on a monthly basis or maybe a weekly basis, and you have that planned over a certain amount of time, so maybe you have a 3-year goal and a 2-year and a 1-year, etc. If you don't have those in place already, then that's the first place to start. So put those goals down and actually commit to saying what you want to make out of trading, and then put a time frame against it. So it's in the time frame that you can determine if your goals are realistic or not, because often people's goals around trading are realistic. So to say you want to make a career out of trading is perfectly fine. But if you say that you want to go from, maybe only having traded for 6 months to having a full-time salary in the next, 3 months, then that would be unrealistic because the time frame is unrealistic. So check the time frame against your goals. And then ask yourself, does it seem realistic that I could achieve these goals in this time frame? And another question to ask yourself is, are these goals putting pressure on me while I'm trading? And that's the key to it. So if you've set goals that are unrealistic in terms of a time frame, then what will happen is that you'll feel under much more pressure when you're trading, and therefore you'll be focused more on the P&L. So you'll be more concerned with the amount of profit that you're making than actually following your trading process. And if that's happening, then it's a clue to go and look at your goals and see why they're putting you under pressure. So can you actually extend the time frame, give yourself more time to achieve those same outcome goals, and therefore that allows you to do it at the pace that is realistic and that is more aligned with treating trading as a profession. And there's a stat that I just want to share. So I did say I was going to give people a kick up the ass. And this stat is that in 2010, there was research done and they found that only 1% of day traders can predictably profit net of fees, so that they're so consistent that they know for sure they'll be making, profit out of it on a consistent basis. And 80% of day traders quit within the first 2 years. So I know that you do not want to be in that 80%. And so the way to start that now, to really cement your journey to trading as a professional with long-term success, is to set realistic expectations and make sure that your goals are supporting you in that journey rather than actually sabotaging you.
Excellent discussion this morning. We all need a good kick in the ass at times. And, one of the things that we encounter the most, I've seen the most in the few years that I've been doing this and part of this community, is people coming in and thinking, like you said, just unrealistic goals, that something's going to happen real quick and not work hard and everything else. So great talk this morning. Thank you very much, Kreda. And I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye.
Bye. And just a reminder to everybody too, Kreda's pieces are up on YouTube in a playlist. It takes a day or two to get it cut down and everything else, but you can go check those out. As she was speaking, we got the news drop that Biden has nominated Powell to his second term as Fed president. So markets SPY started going a little bit crazy on that. Thank you for pointing that out, those of you that caught the news.
Yeah, we were seeing the madness happen there for sure. All right, guys.
Probably you're seeing financials and banks move more than anything else on that. So.
Yeah. You see Bank of America here popping up nicely. West Fargo as well. Yep. Cool. Let's take a look at what we have, guys. We have Neo here. We have Mara looking all right. Lucid, very active, but I'm not moving a whole lot right now. We'll see. Baba is good on the daily. I got Plug dropping, losing that breakout we just had a few minutes ago, and then Nvidia is okay. Apple is looking very good. So let's slice this up a little bit. I am going to keep Neo. Mara, I'm on the fence on it. I'm on the fence. I'm going to bring it down, I think. We'll bring that down for now. Let's see. Let's get rid of this here. Lucid is good, guys. 3.4 million. Baba, I'm on the fence on Baba as well. I think it can be good, but let's put it down here for now. So we'll bring Baba here as well. Let's see. And that gives us about 5 or 6 here. Plug is good. I do like the breakout that we got going on there. Nvidia is good and Apple is good. Yeah, I like these here very much. Secondary list, we're going to chop this up as well. We have PROG, which is very, very active, guys, 2.8 million. MU, I'm going to remove. I know they had a big day yesterday, and they can possibly get a nice continuation going here, but I'm just going to get rid of it for now. Go EV, also volume is very light still at the moment. I do have Neo as a EV company on here. mRNA could be decent. We'll take a look at that one. LAC, beautiful pop on Friday, possible continuation today. I will keep that one on there. Billy, Billy's very quiet right now, so I'm going to remove it. We'll wait for that to hit the scanners. Let's remove Billy from here. We do have Roblox, which is very active, guys, breaking out again here. This thing is just on fire. Is this all-time highs, right? I believe it is, right? Roblox, let's go back. Yeah, so the IPO right here back in March, and they're now sitting at 140. So pretty nice run the last 2 weeks, I believe. Gapped up and really has taken off here. So that's a good one. Just got to be very careful with the risk management on that one. AMD is good as a possible. GameStop, I have it here. We don't have a whole lot of volume going on right now, but possible breakout. We know how explosive that can be. Mara and Baba. All right, we have a lot. I'll try to fine tune that even more later down the line. ISPC is a low flow of the day. Broke through 9 earlier. Look at this beautiful pattern on this morning here on ISPC, guys. Low flow of the day. Definitely trading very well, up 100%, 11 million. This is what you want to see on a low flow. This consolidation, this breakout, consolidation, breakout in the pre-market, right? You don't want to see this stuff where it starts dropping down below the moving averages and then consolidates, breaks down, consolidate, breaks down. You don't want to see that. This is perfect at the moment. Here's Rivian. Seems all over the place in the pre-market right now. So again, we'll keep an eye on it here. Very risky stock, but just really all over the place right now. Okay, cool. Let's do levels. Neo, let's start there. We are going to zoom into our action this morning. High of the pre-market is going to be over at 40.69, so we'll put one level there. Right now, low of the pre-market all the way down at 39.70, so that's good. Towards the bottom, we have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days over there as well. So we're pretty much done towards the bottom. Right now, this 40.69, you can see what a great level that is on the daily. A lot of areas where a lot of candles opening and closing right around that area there, and we do have another one up here as well around 41.44. So we'll put a level there also. 41.44 is good. And then if we do decide to get going again, I don't think we can make this move today. We do have another one here at 42.55, so that's good there. Okay, that's Neo, guys. Again, decent pre-market action. We got great volume, 1.2 right now, so that's looking very good. Here's Lucid, which has been just extremely active. I mean, just the whole entire month of November, this thing has been wild. But specifically the last week or so, right, we've been getting some exceptional volume and some really good trades on this thing. Look at Friday here. Possible continuation today if we can get into the green territory or not. Either way, even if it's a short, I think you have some really good opportunities here. Low of the pre-market sitting over at 52.24. Your high of your pre-market is going to be over at 54.68. And then towards the bottom, you have plenty of stuff here, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Towards the top, the only great level I see right now, obviously, is the previous day close, which is the high from yesterday as well, sitting right on there, right? And then you have this one level up here, 57.63. So we'll put one there also on Lucid. So Lucid is good. Taking a look at Plug now, the daily looks very nice, guys. Possible continuation. Already broke out of this area here. Possible continuation now. High of the pre-market is 45.75. So we'll put a level there. And then that is our all-time highs this morning. Well, not all-time highs, right? This guy's been higher. Yeah, they've been higher. Of course they have. Let's go back in here over in February, March. We are looking over at 48.29 is a good level. And this one here, we'll take 2 towards the top in case we're going to have a nice run here. 53.15. Those are 2 good levels here on the daily with a lot of touches and changes in direction there. So that looks good. Towards the bottom, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. You're pretty much set there when it comes to Plug. Here's Nvidia. Nvidia is moving very well, guys. Hitting all-time highs, setting the all-time highs at 338.39. So right on there, put a level there. Low of the pre-market hanging around 333.52. So a little bit higher, but that's okay. Let's fix that. Let's put it right over here. So that's good. So you're pretty much set on Nvidia. It looks very good, guys. Setting all-time highs. This thing has just been on a tear. Just look at the daily here, guys. I mean, this thing was hanging out around at 125, 150 in May. You know, a couple of weeks ago, 200. Now we're at 337. And yeah, nice. Increase in
Okay.
volume. Huh?
I
Go
was
ahead.
just going to say, before you go on to the next one after NVIDIA, check out
Yeah.
ISPC. It's running like crazy in the last couple of minutes.
All right, let's take a look at that. Oh, up 130. We just left it off at 90. Oh, man. Oh boy. This is the low flow of the day, guys. This thing is on fire. Careful now. Careful.
Just be careful because it could
yeah.
drop ridiculously
Yeah.
fast at some point when it loses the momentum. But
You know, I like this here, the consolidation. Once you start doing this, you're getting very extended. You know, the risk of a drop is a lot, not the risk, but the chances of a drop is a lot higher. Not saying that's going to happen, but just be very, very careful, guys. This thing popped up 975 to 1150. Madness. All right. So careful on that one, guys. Nvidia looking good. I think we're all set on levels there. Apple very active this morning. We got 4.5 million shares traded there, so that's good. High of the pre-market 161.85. Above this, let's go back. What is are we all? No, we're not all-time highs, are we? Are we at all-time highs
What's
on
that?
Apple? On
Yeah.
Apple, man, wow, just like that. There we go. Looking very good, guys. Very strong week for Apple last week, and looks to continue as well. So that is very nice. Okay, we are all set here, and let's take a look at what our moderators have this morning. So we'll slide over there. Let's take a look at this. Let's see how I can bring this over here. This should be right there. Okay, perfect. So we have here. Is my mom still holding? What? Johnny, you talking about my mother, man? What's going on? What? What is this getting into, man?
Apple.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about Apple. No, she sold off at 145 or something, 150. So she did very well, man. She got in at 119, if you guys remember.
I crack jokes about Peter, and they're going after your mom. That's
Yeah,
ruthless.
this is on a Monday. On a Monday. I mean, she got in right here and sold off like around 145, 150, right? So she did very well. She did it on she had Robinhood. I think all her friends have Robinhood. It is interesting. All right, let's take a look at the moderators lineup here, guys. We have, starting with Thor, Apple, Apple, Lucid, CCL, MU, secondary list, Neo, Plug, and last on their SP, XP, XL. Is that a SPY ETF or something? XP, XL. Yeah, it looks like a SPY ETF or something. Okay,
There you go. Wild one. Mom joke Monday.
Yeah. Mike, you're looking at Apple, Nvidia. Peter, no IPOs for today. A couple of SPACs there. Peter's also looking at AMD, Apple, Nvidia, Lucid, Neo, and ASTR. Dima is looking at Apple, AMD, Plug, and Nvidia. And Tiffany has Apple, Nvidia, Lucid, and Plug. And John on his list, Apple, Nvidia, and Tesla today. So we got a lot of stuff to watch today, guys. Actually, it started off really rough, and it's kind of got better. But it's gotten better with tickers that we watch, on a regular basis, right? Nothing on the gappers list really looked good for us to keep. Brian coming in with his list. He has Plug, ISPC, Roblox, Lucid, Apple, and Nvidia this morning. So that is his list there. And ISPC looking
Surprised didn't qualify ISPC for fun as he usually does on the lower float stuff.
Yeah, that is definitely for fun, guys. I mean, this thing is up 120. What's high as 130 or 40 or whatever it was. Just pure madness, guys. 9:15. Andrew and Brian are up next with their trading. So live trading over in the chat room. Thank you so much over on YouTube for joining us this evening. Remember, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we do have our onboarding class. So if you have not checked us out, we do have a code PREMARKET24. You can come hang out with us for an hour as we kind of show you around the community, show you what's available to you, and you get access for a whole week of the chat room, right? And a couple of videos on our site as well. So take advantage of that. We'd love to see you tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you hit that thumbs up over on YouTube, guys. It helps Norm and I a whole lot. So we appreciate it. We try to go for 300 at times. That's a sweet spot for us. So we appreciate it very much if you can help us get there. Outside of that, guys, I will see you guys tonight or tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Take care, guys, and trade safe.
See your mom tonight.
Yeah, I need. Do we have like Yoni's info? I gotta talk to Yoni. I gotta give him a call or email him. I mean, I think if I right click here, we got some access. I gotta find out what's going on, man.
Oh, have a good one, brother. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys. Take care.